Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. Love ya. Caleb here. I'm gonna be kind of going over this most recent Sam video response to iDubbbz putting out the full documentary, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think I was kind of fairly on point, and I mean, Sam seems to echo what I was saying in my last video, kind of reaction to. Um, the iDubbbz documentary, and that I do think he seemed to be pretty fair. I researched that the group that Sam gave $5,000 to, and from what from what I guess maybe I could do more research, but from what I could tell, it does seem to be a group of that's espouses racial supremacy, which I don't know. It seems bizarre. I wish I could ask Sam about that. And Sam doesn't go over the 5 days that he seemed to mostly snub iDubbbz or not really talk to him, kind of ignore him, and not give him a second like serious one-on-one interview. But besides all that, yeah, I think Sam he says that in this video basically that he thought it was fair, and he gives some reasons for it, so I'll just play it and talk about it after.
So we saw the iDubbbz documentary. iDubbbz came out here into a crazy situation. I would have turned back. Okay, if I went out to interview my hero, Tim Heidecker, and he tried to pull some stunt on me, wouldn't have ended good. I would have left. I wouldn't have made a documentary. iDubbbz hanging in there, getting it done, doing the boxing thing, letting me almost kill him in the car, hanging with us with loaded firearms, going through all WEX security steps, everything. That's bold. No matter what way you cut it. And yeah, he left his mask on in the drive-thru. He's from California. Okay, cut him a fucking break. And second of all, to have cut it, I think that it's accurate and neutral. His documentary, like he could have made it snarky. He could have been, oh well, this is the flip side. This is what actually happened. Like, he could have done that. But the documentary was extremely well cut. It was neutral. It represented what happened, and I think that's big, like character-wise, to not look for an angle to get revenge or something. I think it's big-ish of him. Okay, I'll say that. And also, I think he was as neutral as he could be. I know that some people are like, oh, you mentioned racism. He's got 8 million subscribers. He has to mention racism. For him to even be associated with my name in any way is like a bold thing. He's playing
Important point here, I think.
with his livelihood at that point. So that's a huge deal.
It's kind of this weird thing because I do think people should stand up for what they think is right, and kind of like these billionaires who won't say anything against China, genocide of Uyghurs. I think that's a different thing than iDubbbz, just talking about certain things that he sees as potentially questionable. Excuse me. I'm gonna mess this up pretty bad, but okay. Different than iDubbbz, like bringing Sam, having him be a part of his, video collection, doing a documentary on him. Because if the billionaire basketball NBA team owner says something about China, they might lose money, and they might lose a lot of money. Let's say they have 2 billion, they lose a billion. They're still fine, okay? iDubbbz, if he does something that's too risque, if you're making, I don't know how much money he makes, but like let's say you're making 100 grand, which is a decent amount of money in America, and then you make some big mistake and it goes down to 50 grand or 20 grand or something, like you might still be able to get by, but it'll be not as good. Whereas like if you have a billion or 2 billion, you're fine. And something as big as genocide is, I think you should speak out against genocide no matter what the consequences against you will be, unless you have some other way of dealing with that, like maybe you're secretly funding the people against a genocide, and therefore it's better if you don't say anything so you can keep making money to help against the genocide. Anyway, sort of in a roundabout, I'm saying sometimes it's the right time to speak out or do something or go against the grain. Sometimes it's better to not do that, I guess. And even Sam says that himself. He'll have people who he says in other videos message him like saying like, hey, I stood up in my class and I said that I tried to red pill everyone, and then they just like ostracize themselves and look weird, and it's not a way to really help people if you just are really edgy all the time. It's much better to talk about things and wait and get to know somebody and not freak people out. I think if you have, if you're crazy, you should fix that and not just try to get your crazy and other people. But if you have like sort of controversial opinions or whatever, if you want to do something controversial, go about it in a smart way. Especially if you're trying to do something good that's controversial, you might be hurting your own objective if you go about it in a stupid way. And shit, what else I was going to say? Some people are like, I see this, I used to be like really libertarian, now I'm like kind of libertarian, but I used to see this with libertarians a lot. It was like, oh, I can't vote for this person because they don't believe every single thing that I believe. They believe 19 out of the 20 things that I believe. But no, sorry, man. F you. You can do that. That's fine. You can have that be your life, but you're never gonna. I don't want to say never. It's gonna be much, much harder to kind of advance in society and get things done, especially as efficiently as you can. You can go out and buy a plot of land in the middle of nowhere or on a private island and build it up yourself, and you'll be totally autonomous in things. But you won't have to listen to anybody or do whatever you want, live off the land and stuff, and that might be well and good, but it might be much better and easier to make money somehow, and then you can have people build a house for you on the land, build power lines and plumbing, and so you can have a decent life instead of just living in a tent or something. And I think Sam is kind of talking about this, and he has talked about this before. It's like you just have to be sort of pragmatic. That's just how it is in life. And if you want to be idealist, try to set it up so that you can get to that point. So like I said, if you want to be away from society and you just can't put up with people and you're like, no, I'm not going to tolerate anybody, I'm not going to listen to anybody, all right, but you might have to do some, if you want to have a decent life, put up with this now or try to go out about it in a smart way. Don't just go scorched earth, because it's not going to work out for you. And Sam's going to get to this thing a little bit. Or does he? I forget. But just trying to be a nice, decent person goes a long way too. And trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, and yeah, I guess that's about it.
So I'm tremendously thankful to him. I've talked about this with Nick. If the tables were turned, I would have made the documentary called 10 Reasons Why Sam Hyde's a Fat. And it would have just been like, oh yeah, we went out there, he tried to impress me with his car. He had these like 20-year-old guys like acting like they were like ironic, like some bullshit on some fucking like, yeah, okay, I get it. This is a crazy setup. It's not your real office. Okay. Like that's the way I would have, you could have framed the documentary that way, but he kept it neutral. He portrayed, what was going on. It was entertaining. I thought it was awesome. The lifting at the end is the icing on the cake, and I don't care that he didn't do 225. Okay, he did it in good form. You take the first step. All right, take the fucking first step. He did it. That's amazing.
That's a huge thing. I tell people all the time. Just do one thing. Do something. Do anything positive. One, it could be tiniest thing. Washing one cup. If your house is a mess, it's something.
Vanish of him. I like it. What else? What should I say?
Address the new people.
Yeah, so that's about it. He just goes into like Gumroad and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I guess in saying these things, I was thinking of people who are like, no, iDubbbz, he was trying to screw Sam. He was, he was a bad guy basically. He's not cool. He messed things up with Sam, and I just sorry, I'm getting messages. I think Sam had it pretty much right here. Is like, especially given the circumstances, I think he handled it pretty well. iDubbbz. Nobody's perfect. This reminded me of what I was thinking of before. Remember, somebody had messaged Sam, and he's like, yeah, this girl, she's like really nice and super sweet, and she is like helpful and good to me, but she like believes that God exists, and I just don't know if I can put up with that. Sam was like, are you kidding me? Like, to find a like you want, he's like he says oh, you want her to like play video games with you and like be red pilled and be all like chill? You're asking for a guy. You want to date a guy, and that's a little bit extreme. I do think there are women that are, I don't know, really great and whatever, but I think, I'm guessing he would. I think he would agree with me. Maybe not, but I think he would agree with like, you gotta. Nobody's gonna be perfect. Nobody's gonna be exactly what you want. If you find like a great person, don't mess that up with your crazy ideologies. And not everybody's ideologies are crazy, but like, you know what I mean? Just if everybody had this like perfect ideal of a person, and then they expect everybody else to be like it, nobody's exactly the same, except for like, I guess, identical twins. But other than that, it's just not going to work out. So I don't mean to be mean to anybody. I just hope helpful, and hopefully somebody got something from this. Thank you very much for watching. Love ya. Have a good one. If you want to, like, comment, and subscribe. That's cool. And have a good one. Take care.